Welcome to TisTalk.
TisTalk is a community podcast from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Mary Myers.
And I'm Peter Shallcross.
It's the week beginning the 6th of July. So hello Peter, thanks for coming into the Warder TisTalk studios. How are things?
Very good. I'm enjoying the hot weather and just back from holiday.
Oh yes, of course. Where did you go?
We walked the Hadrian's Wall path, so from west to east, so from Solway on Furness all the way over to South Shields.
Oh, lovely. Was that in the real heatwave week?
We missed the real heat that you had here, and we rested in the middle of the day, so we just enjoyed it.
How nice.
Yeah.
Right, so in a minute I'll ask you for your news locally and nationally, which is what we normally do with co-hosts. First, I'll just say what's going to be on today's show. So we've got Charlie Hamilton-James, who I talked to just a few days ago, up on the Fonthill estate, who is a wildlife photographer and filmmaker, and one of his films is on Channel 4 at the moment. It's called Billy and Molly, and it's a fantastic film about otters.
One of the great problems humanity faces is that it has disconnected from nature. And this was a film about reconnection, and to me, and I am obsessed with conservation messaging, is that we've catastrophically failed in our efforts to message what's happening to the planet.
And then we've got Mungo Melvin at Forbes Field, which is a community orchard in Chilmark.
And we've transformed what was a piece of rough grazing into an attractive amenity for the village.
Then we have Steve Tonkin talking about July's stars. He's, of course, our regular astronomer on TisTalk.
The Milky Way seems to come out of the spout like the steam from a teapot.
Oh!
But it really is gorgeous.
And then we end with the What's On listings. How about some local news to start with that's interested you recently?
Well, local news is a bit sad, I've got, because it's the funeral of Maggie Paul today.
Yeah.
Very well known in the village, did a lot of good in the village, and she was a founder member of Nadder Community Energy, of which I sit on. So she was very well liked.
Yeah, very well liked, and she'll be missed. Yes, indeed. What about any national news that's interested you?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the farming world, and I think in the past week the government have finally published the farming roadmap 2050. So it's plotting the trajectory of farming for the next 26 years, and it is very comprehensive, and it follows on from the land use framework the government published on how all the land in the UK is going to be used, or the plan anyway. But they're both very similar because they don't really involve how it's going to happen. It's not practical from a farmer's point of view, right, because there's no indication how the farmers are involved to get there. It's incredible. At the moment, economics are really appalling for most farming sectors. So we're not making very much money, and the whole
implementation.
Yeah,
the whole implementation is just not there. It's not in the plan.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were saying before we started recording that it's gone down like a lead balloon. Amongst who, though?
So there's been a lot of comment on social media about the roadmap, particularly by James Rebank, who's an upland farmer in Cumbria, who people might know because he's written The Shepherd's Life.
Right.
And also The English Pastoral. So he's a great commentator. It just pointed out to me that there is just no implementation policy with part of this, and it seems to be a common theme in government publications.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Well, thanks for that news, Peter, but let's now go straight into our content. Our first guest today is a well-known wildlife photographer and filmmaker. Charlie Hamilton James lives locally on the Fonthill estate, but his work has taken him all over the world. I spoke to Charlie about his latest television film, Billy and Molly, which is currently on Catch Up on Channel 4. It's a heartwarming story of an extraordinary friendship between a man and a wild otter in the Shetland Islands. I also asked him what brought him to settle here in our area.
So Billy and Molly was, or is, a story about a guy in Shetland called Billy Mail and his wife Susan. And Billy basically adopts a wild otter that sort of lands at his feet, starving to death one cold February. Actually, it's March. Anyway, and he starts feeding it, and then they become friends. And it's this sort of story about this man's relationship with this otter, but it's told by Susan, his wife. So it's also about her relationship with Billy, and it's a very sort of emotional story about sort of love and loss and grief. But key to it is the otter doesn't die, because everyone watches it. They think they're going to cry and the otter's going to die, but it doesn't. So I always like to tell everyone, it's okay. No one dies here.
Good. It's really a kind of love story to just the sea, to nature. I've just watched it and it's just beautiful. So what made you make it? What were the connections to begin with? How did you get to know this couple? How did you get to spend time in Shetland? All that.
So I actually moved to Shetland when I was 19. And I used to live in a small cottage on a very, very remote hillside on the west side of Shetland. And my next door neighbours were Billy's parents. But I didn't know Billy until I started making the film, or just before. And I used to live with this couple on this hillside, Kayla and Bruce. And it was actually Bruce, 30 years later, phones me up and says, you've got to come and see this guy. He's got this otter. And Bruce was helping Billy build his house. So I got in my car and I drove up and got the ferry to Shetland. And it's a long journey. It's like 14 hours on the ferry. It's a long way off Shetland. And I just spent some time hanging out with Billy and Molly. And I really wanted to just photograph Molly underwater. That's this otter Molly, because she was so tame. She'd sit on my camera while I was swimming around.
Really?
And she's a completely wild animal. That's what's wonderful.
How amazing.
So, and then Billy and Susan and I, we're just incredibly close now, because I spent 6 months living in their house with them. Billy has a very emotional story, and Susan has a very beautiful way of telling it. So I worked hard to sort of tell that story, and that meant trust, because to get Billy to open up about some of the things that are painful in his life, it took a lot of time and trust, and to the point where I wrote the script on a Google Doc that they could see the entire script the whole time on us writing it, and we all, because it was essentially it's their words, but I had to sort of craft them slightly. So that was sort of how we built this trust. Was I would never, it had to be in their voice in a sense, and it had to be true and real and everything else.
Yeah, so and it sort of unfolds in real time. It's
it's not a film that has some sort of great twist, is it? It's a film about a man bringing an otter up, and he succeeds.
Right.
But very much his own daughter in a sense, and I think that's what the film really sort of drills down into.
Yes.
But it's such a beautiful place. And I mean, most of the time it's not. About 80% of the time it's howling gale and it's grey and it's raining. But if you look at the film, it looks like the Caribbean. But that's testament to the amount of time we were given in the field to shoot it. So I made a whole string of films really from 2000. I made my first film in 2003, which was called My House in River, and it was about I used to live in between Bristol and Bath, and we had this river in the garden, and it was about the otters and the kingfish and these animals that lived on the river, and it became a huge success. And I think partly because we'd never made a film before, so we broke all the rules because we didn't know what they were, and it was a very sort of emotional story, and that kind of gave me a good 10-year career just making wildlife films. And we did hyenas and Victoria Falls and vultures and loads of different films. And then eventually I did a show called I Bought a Rainforest, because I did. I I bought 100 acres of illegal coca plantation in Peru by mistake. And so we made this big BBC Two show about it. It was about me going to sort of figure out what to do with it.
Interesting.
And I kind of fell out with TV at the end of it all because I'd had enough.
Right.
And so I ended up not making a film for 10 years, in fact longer. So I was working as a photojournalist for National Geographic instead.
Right. Right.
So Billy and Molly was really a comeback because I hadn't made a film for so long. I just figured I might try and do it again.
So we're so used to nature films having a sort of conservation message and like almost a warning at the end. But yours, in a way, was refreshing because it didn't. It wasn't about, these otters are endangered or whatever. Was conservation in your mind at all when you made the film?
Yes, but conservation messages at the end of films don't do any good.
Right.
So here's my deal with it.
Yeah.
It was a conservation film in the sense that it was very much a film about how a man reconnects with nature, with an otter, that ergo reconnects with nature. One of the great problems humanity faces is that it has disconnected from nature. And this was a film about reconnection. And to me, and I am obsessed with conservation messaging, is that we've catastrophically failed in our efforts to message what's happening to the planet, because we've given people endless doom and gloom to the point where they just turn their brains off. There's nothing they can do about it on the whole. They feel helpless, it makes them depressed, and it doesn't work. So my attempt with the film is to actually look at ways of inspiring people to reconnect to what we've lost.
Right.
And that is why it doesn't give a conservation message, because they are pointless in my opinion.
That's really interesting. Are you pessimistic or optimistic about the future of wildlife in general in this country?
I'm absolutely pessimistic. I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, I mean, there's some gorgeous wildlife around here. But funnily enough, I was talking to my son about it yesterday. I was talking about when we were kids, there were butterflies everywhere. And last year, it was a good butterflies. But what I was telling my son is that we have a thing called baseline shift, where the baseline of what we expect and see gradually diminishes. And so that becomes the new baseline. If you look at what the place was like 20, 30, 50, 100 years ago, it was very different. There was a lot more around. And nothing generally seems to be going well. There are small things that happen locally that are doing really well. There's so many finches here. I think it's fantastic. If I drive to Tisbury, I see yellowhammers and bullfinches. There's so many skylarks this year. So there are actually really good things happening. As a whole, it's more bleak and depressing, but locally, it's good. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah. How did you get into wildlife filmmaking, Charlie?
Well, so I grew up right next to the BBC Natural History Unit, like 300 yards away.
Oh, in Bristol?
Yeah. Oh. So I'm really lucky in that sense. And as a kid, I was obsessed with kingfishers. And then I became obsessed with otters. And so growing up, I was always in and out of the BBC trying to get work. And then I got my first paid job at 16, working on David Attenborough's Trials of Life. And I set their kingfisher shots up for them. And then I sort of got a name as the kid that got the shots of kingfishers and otters. So if anyone wanted to film them, they came to me, and I sort of turned that into a career. That some years I would, it's been a long time now. I'm 52 now. That was when I was 16. But I'm still, some years I will only film kingfishers and otters. And in fact, I'm photographing kingfishers this week. So
around here?
Down in Blandford. So I really haven't strayed far from the path. I'm still, these two animals gave me a really, I think, a really lucky break and a really fun career.
Can we just talk about Tisbury in this area?
Yeah.
What drew you to this area to come and live?
I just really fell in love with it. I came to see a friend and stayed a couple of times, and I decided I want to come and live down here. I was being transient. I was living in Jackson Hole in Wyoming, then I was living in Kenya, and then Bristol. And then I sort of didn't know where to go. So I went off to Peru and then the States, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And then I came out and I was sofa surfing 2 years ago at the age of 50. I was like, I got to go and live somewhere. And this house came up on the estate, and I thought, well, I'll come live here because I loved it so much when I'd been here before. And I've completely fallen in love with it.
Great.
It's wonderful. I tell you what I really love is I like going to the butcher's, going to the deli, going to Co-op, going to Boots, going to the Harbour. I love not going to a supermarket and buying the daily food. And so because I love going to Tisbury.
Yeah.
And every single day I go to the gym, and then I've got my little circuit. And
The gym at the Nadder Centre?
Yeah. And I just love the fact that it's 5 minutes away, and I can, all these things are there, and I don't have to wander around a mindless supermarket.
Yeah, we're so lucky, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are.
James, thanks very much for coming on TisTalk.
Pleasure.
Well, I'm at Forbes Field, which is in Chilmark, and it's a beautiful day, and this is a rather special place. It's a field, 3-acre field, which has now been turned into a community asset, and I'm just about to meet Major General Mungo Melvin, who is the chair of the Forbes Field Management Group. Thank you very much for coming on TisTalk, Mungo.
Well, it's my pleasure to show you around, Mary. This is a very good example, I hope, of a community project. In the last 4 years, we've planted over 120 trees, hundreds of whips, and we've transformed what was a piece of rough grazing into an attractive amenity for the village.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful day. Actually, it's suddenly got very hot, hasn't it?
And we're looking now at the orchard where we've planted 44 fruit trees pledged by various people in the village, and they're coming on pretty well.
Yes.
And on the periphery, in the north and the west, we've planted more trees to provide some shelter and various habitats.
Right. So when you say we, can you tell us how it all happened and what the group was that
Well,
started
the
it?
origins was a plea really from the parish council, who had really done nothing in the field since it was donated by Diana Forbes, hence the name Forbes Field,
Yes.
in 2008. And this came at the end of 21. And during one of those, I think, moments during COVID, I decided, well, I think we could do something here. Put a proposal to the parish council, gathered a team together, and we developed a plan and the funding to transform the field into what you see today. And by September 2022, the parish council agreed. We got a group of people together called the Friends of Forbes Field, and together with lots of other volunteers, we've done the work here.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a big piece of land.
3 acres.
And I saw something on your board which says that Diana Forbes really wanted the children to play in it.
Yes, and we encourage schools visits, and we do at least one big event every year, because that was very much in the spirit of what Diana Forbes pledged to the village, to the field,
Yes.
hoping that children would make good use of it.
So, and there's a picnic table.
Several,
and so,
there are 4 picnic tables.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, yes.
So it's just free for anyone to come in.
Absolutely. Yep, anytime.
Fantastic. And so there's a board here showing the different...
Yes, and you can see he's got
varieties.
eating apples, quince, cooking apples, cherries, gage, pears, and we've planted damson, and we've planted a few mulberries as well, just to give a bit of variety.
Yes. And what about the finances behind it, Mungo?
The finances has been a combination of donations. People have pledged the trees, for example, but also we got a good grant through our close association with what was then the Cranbourne Chase Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, now the National Landscape, and they facilitated our bid to the Farming and Protected Landscape Scheme, and we got funding from that as well.
Right. And how, can I ask how much? How much did it all cost to sort of, or how much was the grant?
Well, well, let me put it this way. The overall financial plan for what you see here was about 25,000, and we got about half of that from the Farming and Protected Landscape Scheme. But we've since put in quite a lot of money since then as well.
Just out of everybody's voluntary donations?
Yes, donations, yeah.
Yes.
And because this, though it doesn't seem very much, it needs at least 1,000 a year to run. We've got to have, we have the grass topped, we've got repairs to be done, insurance to be paid.
Yes.
Though the parish council, I think, is going to take that on for us. But yes, it has running costs, and so we require both volunteers, particularly in hot spells, as we may be having now. We come and water the fruit trees, for example, to keep them going on occasion.
Yeah.
That's why we've laid on and put in a water point here.
See
that was funding. That was an old water trough for horses over there, but in the wrong place, so we moved it to here. And we're getting a water bowser, which we're going to put up at the top of the field shortly. So there's a lot going on, and as I'll show you shortly, Mary, there's a monument to Diana Forbes, which I'd like to show you.
Oh yes, let's go up there now. What have we got here?
We've got a stone cairn made out of some rough limestone, and in which at the top the Forbes family have placed an engraved plaque whose wording is as follows: Forbes Field, given to Chilmark in 2008 by Diana Forbes, who lived here for over 70 years.
Yes.
And the viewpoint where we are now at the top end of the field overlooks the village.
And it's gorgeous.
And I think, picking up a point a lot of people made, that we needed somebody to bring the community together again, certainly in the sort of immediate aftermath of COVID. And there was great enthusiasm of people either to put a bit of money in or to come to give freely of their labour. And, you know, on occasions we had up to 20 or 30 volunteers coming in, doing what we called field days, which we, in the first few years, we did 2 or 3 of those a year, to come and do cutting back on the grass or planting trees or just doing maintenance. And we have at least 2 of those a year still.
Yeah.
Yes.
But your background is...
I'm a military engineer. I was served in the army for 40 years. Yeah.
And is Chilmark your retirement place?
Yes. We bought a house here in 2003. I was still serving the army. I didn't fully retire from the regular army to 2011 and from the reserves in 2018. So I was really fully committed, and I still have I'm really a military historian is my main task now. And I'm coming to see you now whilst I'm writing books and things like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
so this is my environmental sideline, but a very important one.
And would you say that sort of organising soldiers kind of comes in handy when it comes to organise?
I would say yes and no. Yes. I think it gives one a very good clarity of planning and purpose. So I was able to think through what was required, document it, and present it. Those are all professional skills.
Yes.
But of course one needs a slightly lighter touch with lots of volunteers, because you want them to come back. You can't order them around like soldiers.
No, that's true.
No.
Much more like herding cats.
Yes, much as I'm tempted on occasion to do so, no, one can't do that.
No, that's right. Great. Thank you very much.
Well, my pleasure.
You can find all our episodes on tistalk.co.uk.
So that was Mungo Melvin talking about Forbes Field at Chilmark. And I have been involved with the Forbes Field a little bit, and I was great friends with one of the Forbes family, Diana Forbes, who bequeathed the field to the community. And of course the Forbes family have still got involvement in Chilmark. Our Elizabeth Forbes, of course, is...
so it was her aunt who bequeathed this land to Chilmark, didn't she?
I understand, yes, Diana.
Yeah.
And of course we've got another great example of local people working together in our community field up by the King George the V playing field.
Yeah, of course, yes.
And actually it's a really good time to go and visit it. There's masses of butterflies. The flowers look amazing. It'll be cut in about a month's time, so the listeners have got a month to go and have a look.
And who'll be cutting it?
We'll be cutting it. The farm will cut it, and we'll use the hay.
The farmer, as in you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Now to Steve Tonkin, who's an astronomer and the dark sky advisor for the Cranbourne Chase National Landscape. And each month he tells us what's happening in terms of the stars and planets and what we should be looking out for. So here's Steve with his guide to July's night sky. And so what is there to look out for in the night sky, Steve?
Oh, a group of stars called the Summer Triangle, which will now be, as it gets dark, be rising in the southeast. And they're very, very bright stars. There's Deneb on the left, Vega on the right, and then down below them is Altair. And Altair, you can easily recognize it has a fainter star either side of it, like two little outriders. We call that the Summer Triangle because as we go to summer, that'll get higher and higher in the sky and will be sort of pretty much near overhead round about midnight. So that's worth looking out for. And it lets us know we're in summer. The other thing that's worth looking at in summer is the summer Milky Way, because we're able to look right towards the center of our galaxy where it's thickest, where the Milky Way is thickest and densest. So we go down through Cygnus, which is where Deneb is. You see the Milky Way there, and it gets down through Aquila, where Altair is, and then down into Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a constellation which looks a bit like a teapot.
Really?
And it's often called the teapot constellation.
Which way is the spout facing?
The spout is facing to the right, and the Milky Way seems to come out of the spout like the steam from a teapot.
Oh.
But it really is gorgeous. But if
we're talking looking
south.
South, yeah. Yes.
And it's so dense there that sometimes before it's got properly dark and you can just see bits of it, people have thought it's actually weather clouds. And it's not, it's star clouds. And if you've got binoculars, have a look at that with binoculars. It's absolutely stunning. It's just so full of stars. And with binoculars as well, you can just cast around that area of sky. There are hundreds of little star clusters around there. The problem isn't finding them. The problem is actually identifying them once you've got them.
Right.
It really is a lovely place just for casting around with binoculars. It's really good. Moon's going to be out of the way, so making it better for stargazing up until about the 20th, after which it gets a bit too bright.
Right.
But there's quite a few things we can look for up until then. So on the 9th, there's the star Regulus, which is the brightest star in Leo, which will be just below the planet Venus, which we can probably identify now. It's been looking at it for a few months, and that'll be in the evening twilight. 14th is new moon, so no moon in the sky, but look for the crescent moon on the 16th again. That'll be this lovely thin crescent with the old moon still visible from Earthshine on it, so lit by light reflected off the Earth.
Amazing.
That's gorgeous. A day after that, the Moon and Venus are in conjunction close to each other in the sky, so you can see that. That's an evening twilight.
On the 17th.
And that's on the 17th. And the day after that is the first day we actually get full darkness at night, and the first time we've had that since May. Since towards the end of May. It's been all-night twilight. And so for astronomers, that's, now we can get into it.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Enjoy the sky. It's lovely.
I've got a particular problem this time of year, stargazing, because I'm asleep before the stars appear at night.
Yeah.
So I have to see them in the morning. So they're still just about noticeable at 4 o'clock in the morning before the sun comes up.
At a silly time of the morning for most of us, but of course
in the winter it's no problem. I get very good views of the stars.
Yeah, and you get up so early because of the cows, is that right?
The first milking, yes.
Yeah, so you have to get up at about 4 o'clock in the morning to start milking.
And they're waiting. Yeah.
Are they? Okay, so now it's time for our regular roundup of everything that's happening in Tisbury. Here's Christabel Watts with the What's On listings.
Here's what's on in Tisbury and surrounding villages from Monday the 6th of July to Sunday the 12th of July 2026. On Tuesday the 7th, Wiltshire Council are hosting a Climate and Environment Summer Showcase with a drop-in event from 1 till 3 in the atrium in County Hall, Trowbridge. Everyone's invited and no booking required. Learn about installing solar panels and battery storage, find grants and schemes to make your home more energy efficient, speak with experts, and find out how to get involved in local initiatives driving positive environmental change across Wiltshire. There's a Tisbury Parish Council meeting at 7 p.m. in the reading room. Also at 7 p.m, the Social Stitchers group meet in the Chilmark reading room. And a community craft group meet on the first Tuesday of the month at Hindon Village Hall from 7 till 8:30 p.m. On Wednesday the 8th, Tisbury Memory Group meet in the Hinton Hall from 10 till 12 as usual. This month with the Ancient Technology Centre, bringing history to life with Viking and Anglo-Saxon food. The Natural History Society have an evening walk to Prior's Farm to see some great farmland habitats, leaving the Nadder Centre car park at 5:45 p.m. On Thursday the 9th, Wessex Rivers Trust have their free Nadder Riverside Walk and Talk at 10 a.m, meeting at Messham's car park, exploring river health, discovering the challenges facing our rivers, and learning how local people can make a difference to river health. This will be repeated on Sunday the 12th at 4:30 p.m. Look up Wessex Rivers Trust on Eventbrite to book a space. Then on Friday the 10th, at 10:30 a.m. there'll be an art group live drawing in the Chilmark reading room. Then at 7 p.m. there'll be a film screening and talk of Eric Revilius's Drawn to War at Messham's. Tickets are £15 and can be bought on their website. On Saturday the 11th, Tisbury Footpath Club have their summer outing to Swanage for a 10.5 or 6.5 mile circular walk starting in the main beach car park. Meet at 8:50 a.m. at Nadder Centre car park to share lifts. Find the details on their website. There's a series of workshops happening at Messham's over the weekend, including clay sculpture for ages 3 up, as well as screen printing, natural film developing, and natural chemistry chemograms. On Sunday the 12th, the Natural History Society have a field trip to Groveley Wood to look for woodland butterflies, meeting at the Nadder Centre car park for 11 a.m. Email them to join either of their events this week. Messham's are now open on Sundays from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. for the summer. Stay cool in their incredible 13th century barn, currently featuring the Forest Cathedral installation. Looking ahead, Ballet Under the Stars returns to Hatch House with performances from the 24th to the 26th of July and an afternoon designed especially for families and young children on Thursday the 23rd, with behind-the-scenes tours, professional ballet performances and an opportunity to join in the dancing. Find information on the Covent Garden Dance website. Save the date for the Tisbury Jumble Trail on Saturday the 25th of July from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Maps will be available from high street shops and the details of how to book and get yourself on that map are coming soon. And that's all for the What's On listings. You can find more details and links on the TisTalk website. Have a great week.
Thanks, Christabel. As always, there's plenty going on in our wonderful community.
That's all we have for this edition of TisTalk.
Thank you all for listening. We hope you've enjoyed spending some time with us today.
If you'd like to get in touch with the programme, suggest a story or tell us about a forthcoming event, we'd love to hear from you. Just email tistalkradio@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook by searching TisTalk Community Podcast, and you can listen again to this programme or any of our previous episodes. We've done over 150 of them on our website at tistalk.co.uk.
And I just have to say at this point how I've been distracted at Warder Studios the whole time, looking out the window, looking at the tremendous butterflies which are on the hedge in the garden. There have been commas and gatekeepers and all sorts of beautiful butterflies. But
I've noticed you looking over my shoulder out of the window, Peter.
And I think there's some goldfinches burbling away as well. Another distraction. But until next time, from the Warder Studios here at TisTalk, goodbye.
Bye-bye.